My name is Jorge Lopez. Some of us say my name is George. I'm honored to be here this morning to share a few words about my best friend, Ruben. Ruben was a man of integrity, loyalty, and trustworthiness. He put others' needs above his own, always extended a hand if he needed help. Ruben was a loving husband, a loving father to both Stefana and Roland, a wonderful brother to his family and to his sisters. He was a great uncle, and he was a great Nino to my son Mateo. Ruben was described as very funny. He was loud, well-versed in topics of the world. He can hold a conversation about any topic at any time. He can talk your ear off. Ruben was a great dancer. He loved music. He was known as the life of the party. And Ruben had many wonderful attributes. But the one that I admired most, was the one that led us on a 20-year path of friendship with Susie and my wife Terry. Ruben was a servant leader, and he was a loyal and faithful servant to the church. I met Ruben more than 20 years ago at a marriage enrichment weekend retreat here at St. Joseph's Church. During the retreat, we engaged in an exercise that purposefully separated us from our spouses so we can really talk about some of our feelings. I purposefully sat in a table in the corner thinking I would be out of the way. I could just kind of work my way through the weekend, but that was the table where Ruben was sitting. I didn't know Ruben at the time, but I remember him doodling on a piece of paper, and he looked up at me and said, "Are you sure you want to sit at this table?" I didn't understand what he meant by that, but it wasn't long before the jokes started cracking, the craziness of his comments, and he had the entire group laughing. But at the same time, Ruben had that unique ability to break down barriers. To break down the barriers that prevented us from having a relationship with Jesus Christ. At that time in my life, Ruben's wit and candor was exactly what I needed. We shared personal stories that weekend, and we laughed a lot. I discovered that we had many similarities. We were both loud. We enjoyed telling jokes. We both had rough childhoods. We grew up within 10 miles of each other, and we both shared marriage anniversary dates in the month of November. We had daughters with birthdays on the same date. And both of us had beautiful and loving lives. This was the beginning of my wonderful friendship with Ruben Terrazas. Sorry, I told myself I wasn't going to do this. It was a mask. It's lacking oxygen. Okay. A few months after meeting Ruben, the church initiated a program. It was called Renew 2000. It was the mission of that program was to assemble small faith groups where we can share our faith. The church at that time was looking for leaders to run the small groups, so I volunteered. I remember them giving me a list of 6 participant couples, and one of the names on the group was Ruben Terrazas. It just was fate that we were together again. In these small faith groups, Ruben shared his intimate relationship with God and also shared his struggles and his friendships and his hardships about his upbringing. Through that sharing process, Ruben quickly discovered that the men in his group also shared similar upbringings. And together we learned of God's plan for healing and forgiveness. The macho men in the group, we shed many tears of pain. We shed many tears of happiness. But all those tears allowed for healing. We often joked that men don't cry, but Ruben be the first one to say that men do. Ruben was a servant leader to the church, and he served in youth ministry here at St. Joseph's. Ruben was effective in using humor and life experiences to draw the youth to a closer relationship with Jesus Christ. Because of Ruben's example and him convincing me, I jumped in with both feet into service with youth ministry. It wasn't long before we were asked to travel with the youth on 2 mission trips to Manilero, Mexico, which is a little town near Ensenada. Our roles were to assist the youth with their service to the Oaxacan Indians and their plight for survival and faith. We passed out supplies, helped in the construction of little homes, and we spent many hours in the car together, just talking and enjoying each other's company. Those trips won't be forgotten, especially the second trip. After spending 3 days serving the church and sleeping on a hard floor in the convent, I said sleeping, because if you know Ruben, you're not sleeping much. They'll keep you up all night. Ruben and I were happy to be coming home. We were in line to cross the border, and we had 3 youths in the back seat of our vehicle. As we approached the port of entry, I looked over at Ruben, and he had a smile on his face. Wasn't sure what he was going to do, but I knew something was coming. Ruben decided that he would be funny and use one of his different voices and pretend he did not understand the officer when he posed questions about his citizenship. We were laughing in the car so hard, but we looked over the officer and he just gave us the nod, secondary inspection for all of you. This was wonderful memories with Ruben. As the years progressed, Ruben continued his service to the church, along with our families, our children, and all his friends. Every year we look forward here at St. Joseph's to the annual parish festival. It was a fun time where families can come together, kids can run in the field, get on rides, enjoy each other's company. Ruben had no problems jumping in on any booth that needed help. You could see him here on the weekends making pizzas, serving ice cream, and sometimes find him behind the beer booth. Well, one year, Ruben and Susie invited us to become co-leaders of the parish festival. I remember that I got that invitation and wasn't that excited about it. But Ruben and Susie have ways of convincing you that it's for the good of the church. So overnight, Ruben and I, and my wife Terry and I, Ruben and Susie and my wife and I, we became leaders of the parish festival. It took months of preparation, many hours here in the evening, making sure everything was ready for that one weekend where all the families can come and enjoy each other. And we spent many wonderful evenings here laughing and enjoying each other's company. It was at that time that I started to notice that people associated Ruben with Jorge and Jorge with Ruben. They'd always ask, hey, where's Ruben? Hey, Ruben, where's Jorge? That's when I knew our friendship was at another level. Ruben was a wonderful man, but I know that his most prized ministry here at church was marriage enrichment. I look around today and I see many faces from marriage enrichment that were great friends of Ruben. For 20 years, Ruben and Susie, along with many couples here, would participate in the retreats here at St. Joseph's to enrich marriages. Ruben had no problem with saying no. With saying yes. He had no problem. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Ruben had no problems with always accepting the invitation. He never said no. We spent many years enjoying each other's company in our small support groups. We traveled together. Our kids became best friends because Ruben was a servant of the church. And that is a wonderful attribute to have. And I'm hopeful that when Ruben took his last breath, our Lord told him, "Welcome, loving and faithful servant." Thank you.